Day celebration. That was yesterday. National Olympians associations and other members across the world have been holding special celebrations to mark the Olympic Day, and Nigeria was no exception.
Out,
They were a part of it as well.
And the first Olympic Day was actually celebrated 23rd of June 1948, which is the aim of actually promoting the Olympic movement, and it has become a yearly event ever since. And so NOC Nigeria Olympic Committee had to join other teams or organizations across the world. You know, bearing in mind that, of course, the coronavirus is still there, so they had to do it in a very subdued manner that usually would have been a bigger celebration. But this is what they could come up with at the National Stadium in a Surulere. And just see some of the staff, all of them coming together, you know, just staying positive, staying strong, and just hoping that, well, the COVID will soon go away so that everyone can go back to their normal way of life.
So your spots on Cecilia, you can see the social distancing, you can see everyone with some face coverings and all of that. But the three pillars of the Olympic Day are move, learn, and discover. So through these messages, sport organizations are promoting the benefits of physical exercise, inspiring people to get active and enabling them to discover new sports while embracing the Olympic ideals regardless of ability and background. So we're saying, I don't know what's so funny about
I know the flexibility, the movement and all that, no matter what, they just move. Even when you're not flexible, just move and be part of it. And it's really good. I mean, just look at this man, he's doing it so well. That's Olumide Yedeji. That's I was actually watching out to see him doing the real deal and all. Okay, we've been talking about, of course he is very. We've been talking about Nigeria Professional Football League.
Yes.
Of course, we'll keep talking about it because other leagues have resumed and all. So right here, we're like, okay, what's going to happen? And this morning, we will be speaking with the chairman of Lobi Stars. Of course, Lobi Stars happens to be one of the clubs that abstained. They did not even participate in the voting process after 17 other clubs voted for to end the league and use the point per game principle. Now, Lobi Stars chairman will be talking to us this morning. He's joining us from our Abuja studio to just tell us more what this is all about. Good morning. It's good to have you join us, sir.
Cecilia, good morning.
Okay, now we've read everything concerning the release that came out from Lobi Stars, the statements and all after the whole voting process was done. And of course, Lobi Stars abstained and saying that they are not comfortable with that. But then majority usually carries the vote. What's the grievance? Why is Lobi Stars actually kicking against what everyone understands to be the best, outcome of whatever could have come out from that meeting?
Yeah, Cecilia. Already, I'm not supposed to talk because the NFF, who is the father of football, who has the final say when it comes to issue of football in the country, had already given out a directive that everybody should keep calm, that they are coming out to it. So I'm not supposed to come and discuss that. However, I want to make some points clear. Already, appointment has been booked for me to appear, and also there are certain things I want the world to know. First and foremost, PPG is a new thing to us because we are towing the line of the English Premier League and of course the Spanish League lately. And I was on the delegation that went to sign partnership with English Premier League some years back. Now we are saying that how can you give out points? And if you check in those leagues that like the French league that PPG was taking, it caused challenges. They even went to court. So what we are saying here is that if PPG, because like you rightly said, majority carries the vote. If they say we must use PPG, then we must do something that will be fair to everybody. Not that you give out points for a match that you didn't play. And I want to correct that impression that in the season of 2018-2019, when we were awarded the league, we represented Nigeria, all teams played equal matches. And it wasn't anything like PPG. We played equal matches, and I thank God Almighty that we went ahead to represent the country well. Also, The equal matches that we played, we did not accumulate match. Any match. If you recall, we played a match against the Moroccan team in Enugu on a Sunday, then left for Benin to play insurance on the Wednesday, came back to Enugu to play Rangers, played 3 matches in a week.
Okay, let me
before
come
we
in.
Travel out to South Africa.
All right, we understand the point you're trying to.
So
let me come in here. We understand the point you're trying to make.
Cecilia.
Okay.
What
the point you're trying to make is you talked
okay.
about the English Premier League and all that. When English Premier League were actually trying to, end their season and all that, when they were having all options open to them. And one of the options was also the points per game that you made reference to. They were thinking along thinking along that line. That's what they were towing.
Like I said.
Okay.
Like I said, if you want to do the PPG, let's go back to the week that no matches were accumulated. From the week, if you check.
Okay, we need to go on a break now. Okay, we need to go on a break now. When we come back, I think we'll continue with this conversation. Thank you.
Well, Cecilia, I cannot talk. I cannot open up this now to the public because we have not come together to I cannot open up. But one thing I want us to understand is that if we are going to do the PPG, then we should go back to the week that all teams must have played equal matches. Then nobody will say maybe they are taking side with a team or not. If you check between week 10 and week 13, all teams must have played equal matches. And if you want to do PPG, if you pick it from there, you'll be able to get the right, the correct result. So that is why we are saying that the right thing should be done. To the extent that our football now, that somebody will come and start insulting, calling Benue people rats, is totally wrong. It's wrong. How can you call us rats? It must come out because we cannot take it. Because of football, you call the whole of Benue that we are rats. It's really, really unfair.
Of course, that shouldn't be a part of the game, truly. Let's still on this situation of the points per game, because that seems to be the contentious issue right now. And you've given examples of other leagues who've talked about using this particular model, which seems to be very straightforward because it's your total points are divided by the amount of games you've played for individual teams. It seems to be a very fair model, but apparently you don't agree with that.
No, you are not getting me. I've said it that if you are going to if you are going to take a decision which the club owners have taken, that we should go by this thing, by PPG, fine. So let's go back to where every club played the normal, all equal matches.
But you've played.
And I'm telling you, I'm referring you to week 10, week 13. If you go there and you get the correct this thing, no match was not accumulated.
Okay, let me come here.
No match was accumulated.
So you want what you want is for the matches that have been played after match day 13 to be null and void. That's what you're trying to say.
Well, of course, if you say you want to do PPG, during the time we represented the country, nothing like PPG came up. You understand? And now, if you say you want to do PPG, which is alien to us, fine. Then let's do it so that somebody will not get 3 points. 3 points like that. So we go back to the week that every team must have played and they must have played equal matches. Then you can take it from there. I think it will be fair.
All right, are you saying this because maybe the point per game at this time does not really favor Lobi Stars? That's why you're saying this, because I believe that other clubs are also in that same shoe. That's what they're going to be saying, because if 17 clubs can come together and say this is the way we should go, and the clubs that failed, okay, this will not favor us, we can't go this way. Is that why you're saying this? Because at the end of the day, we've seen countries that have decided to go the way of PPG. They didn't have to, nullify the other matches and go to a situation whereby they played few games. And you're talking about week 13. Simply means the other games, about 7 or 8 games, should all be cancelled.
Okay. Cecilia,
Yeah.
check the clubs, check other countries that are using PPG. They all have equal games.
Yeah.
They all played equal games.
Exactly.
And that is why I'm saying that if they want to be fair, we should go back to week 10, or the week that all teams must have played equal matches. Then you can take it from there. It's not that you go and you wait and then come together, you understand, and take a decision. Take a decision and then give some points to a team. So what we are saying in effect is that if you say you want to do PPG, you understand, that we say, okay, let the right thing be done. Let's go back to where the league, all the matches must have been played, so that nobody will be accused of saying that they gave points to other people or they gave points to some people. That's what we are saying.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be a fair argument, and I believe that's exactly what you've been saying at today's meeting, which is going to have all the stakeholders, the NFF, the LMC, and club chairman as well. But don't you think this is kind of like a lost battle for you, considering the fact that 17 clubs have already voted to end the season based on the PPG?
But what I'm still saying is this: whether we like it or not, like we said, it was a democratic process that was done. I am not really against that. But what we are saying, for us to have fair hearing, for everybody to have hearing, let's go back. So like I said, I don't want to preempt any decision yet. I have to wait. When we meet, when we get to the river, we'll cross it. We'll get to the bridge, we'll cross it. So let's wait until we have that meeting. But like I said, I still stand that if we are going to have the PPG, then the normal thing to be done is to go back to where nobody gets any free points.
What happens if the decision is not in your favor? Okay, what happens if the decision of LMC and NFF is not in your favor?
Of course, as far as I'm concerned, like I said, NFF is the father of football in the country. You understand? So we are awaiting their decision. Let's wait and see the decision that will come in. As far as I'm concerned, I cannot trade words with our father in football. They are the overall head of football, running of football in this country. So we await their decision. And when we get there, we'll cross it.
That's a fair point, knowing that whatever decisions the NFF will reach, you abide by that. Now, let's leave the points per game and the whole league and all that. Once the COVID is over, and of course, when season resumes, because it's like this season, I'll have to wait what's going to happen. Lobi Stars, what's going to be their dream? Because everyone was actually saying that this period of COVID should be a time whereby every club would need to look inward and prepare for next season. What are the plans that Lobi Stars will have, going forward?
Yeah, we're going forward. Already, we have been able to, to keep keep our players, because we don't know what the final result. We may be asked to go and play to complete the season. They may ask us to, but so we are still paying them salary up to date, and we've not deviated from that, and so. Let's wait until when we get the outcome of whatever decision they will take. We'll put our players on standby. They should wait, and for any situation, anything that arises from the NFF decision, we'll pass it on to them.
Okay, I want to thank you so much for taking our time to join us this morning and also air your views concerning the decision by 17 clubs and, of course, what maybe NFF is going to, decide later today at 1 p.m. when all the club owners have that video conference meeting. Thank you so much, Mike Idoko.
Yeah, thank you, Cecilia.
All right, fair point. Okay, whatever decisions that's going to be made at that meeting, he's going to abide by it. So there will be peace at the end of the day.
Fingers crossed, Cecilia. But you have to say, I mean, he's tried to make you know, his points are very, very clear.
Yes.
Feels the PPG is unfair to not to Liverpool, to Lobi Stars because they've gone from being in third position to not getting the chance to represent Nigeria on the continent, and that seems to be the major grouse of Lobi Stars right now. But then we will the other stakeholders in Nigerian football hold that virtual meeting. And Cecilia, I think maybe the next show we're going to have to bring a statistician to the show to try and let us know if the PPG as it is right now is mathematically fair.
Yeah,
that
it's
is
the fairest.
that is dividing the points played, by the games of points
course.
earned by games
Games
played. I want to know
If
if
you,
mathematically it's fair doing it that way, or is it fair doing it his way of going back to when everyone has played equal amounts of games? Then there will be no need. There will be no need for any PPG by then.
you know what? It's a whole lot. I mean, I just hope when NFF, LMC, club owners meet today,
Yeah.
they will have a resolution and decide, okay, this is the way to go. Because
Cecilia, mathematics is
so
kind of
let's
very,
not
very
let's
complicated.
let's not beat ourselves over that, because
No,
you're
no,
going to
it's not about beating
straight,
yourselves. It's
I mean,
just
taking it down, go straight to match day 13. Everyone has a call.
then
Has
you
his
do,
own.
then you do PPG then.
When you're alone,
Yeah.
or you're just two, because Aqua United also abstained, and Aqua United wasn't also, didn't even like, the way the whole voting process went and
Yeah.
all that. They feel okay, they should have been informed earlier, pass it to those in charge of the clubs, and then have a meeting with players, clubs, and everyone before they can decide and all. But all of a sudden, let's meet, let's decide, and this is our decision. They just had two options to choose from, either this or this, and that's why Aqua United also abstained, and this also
So-
abstained. So maybe everyone feel, okay, this shouldn't be, and it's like the blame is on Aimba for accumulating so many games, but then Aimba will know they were on the continent and all that. So it could be favorable to anyone, but points per game, as we all know, across the world is usually the fairest. Or maybe there's another issue whereby
Yeah,
if you go through,
Cecilia,
if you decide to
carry on.
declare the season null or void, like there was nothing, you can actually, under CAF and under CAF rules, on the CAF Confederations Cup and also the CAF Champions League, the last year's representative, you can send them back if that is the reason why they want to use the points per game. So you can decide to say, okay, this season never was. Let's prepare for next season, and those who represented the country last year can also go back and
Cecilia,
represent in both. So that's another way to do
Yeah.
it.
So he referred to what happened 2018 when the league was concluded.
It wasn't the same.
No, just hold on. The league was concluded, crisis and all of that. They had played about 24 games. Everyone had played 24 games. So it was a lot more straightforward to just freeze the league, and the top team, which happened to be Lobi, went to represent Nigeria on the continent. But this time around, the issue is some teams have outstanding games, and that's where the complication has come from, and that's where all this talks about fairness and unfairness is coming from, and that's what we need to try and find a way to resolve, and that's why I think we need the stats guys to perhaps break it down and perhaps convince or confuse you that this is actually fair if Aimba have played so amount of games divided by their points, whatever they get, compared to, let's say, a Lobi who have played so amount divided by the points that they have. If it's fair, I think it's the stats guys that can really break that down because, anyways, so that's
Less
it.
headache. All right.
That's it. It's not the end of it, of course. Later on, the meeting will go down. Of course, we'll be giving you updates, whatever he's decided at that meeting. Perhaps we'll get ratification, and they will decide to end the league based on point per games. Perhaps, who knows? They might even still relax a bit and hope to restart the season. Later on in the year. Because I was hearing on my way to work today, some of this club chairman saying that where is the rush? Where are they rushing to? I mean, even the CAF calendar is right now frozen. So where are we going to? Why are they trying to decide? The representatives are just now. Perhaps a bit of patience will suffice. Anyways, that's it for the NPFL for now. We'll give you updates definitely on the show tomorrow. Let's go to England now and talk about what's happening. The league has been back for a few games now. Tottenham were in action in the London derby against West Ham United. Ended up being their first win in 8 games. The last time they won prior to yesterday was against City, before coronavirus altered everything. There was another match as well that was between Leicester and Brighton, ended goalless. Leicester dropping points yet again, and it's safe to say now that that top 4 that looked wrapped up for such a long time, for long periods in the league, it's not exactly a gimme. It's not a given for Leicester at the moment. But we're focusing on Tottenham versus West Ham, the derby. Harry Kane, of course, returned to scoring ways after a long time out because of injury, not because he's been out of form. He's been injured for a long time. And you don't expect
emphasis on that, right?
Exactly. You don't expect him to be scoring goals from the treatment table. Right. So he's back and scored his 137th goal in the Premier League in just 200 appearances.
And he's just 26, so
such a prolific striker. 18 goals for the season. When I saw him go 1v1 versus the goalkeeper, I knew there was only going to be one outcome, and that was a goal.
You were not scared he was going to miss it, the way he missed the first one, the one he dragged so wide.
For whatever reason, I'm like, he cannot miss again. It's not going to miss again. And look at the relief
and celebration. I was really happy for him because the criticism has been much, and everyone was actually ascribing it to, is it Jose? Harry Kane is a player that we know that if he's on form, of course, no matter the coach, he's going to give you the goals, and that's exactly what he's done. And his target right now is to reach the 200 mark that the likes of Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney have reached in England.
Yeah, there you go, Cecilia. I'll tell you, the criticism is not on Harry Kane. You know who they're targeting. It's Jose. That is their number one target, just to make him look back like they normally do. So it's not about Harry Kane. This is about Jose trying to put out, the narrative out there that is a defensive manager and strikers don't flourish on him, even though the numbers totally contradict that situation. Anyways, it's great to have Harry Kane back on the score sheet. And the win actually means Spurs are just 6 points out of the Champions League spaces now. So there's still hope that they can't qualify for the UEFA Champions League. Let's talk about the mini battle between Jose and David Moyes. These two guys, been in the league for quite a while. And Jose somehow, of course, expectedly, has found a way to be very dominant over David Moyes, because in their 14 meetings, it's been 9 wins for Jose and 5 draws in all competitions. That's by far his best record against any manager in his career. So I imagine Jose would love to play David Moyes all the time. But that's not how it works.
That's not the way it works, but good one for Harry Kane. And of course, for Jose Mourinho, they were able to secure that victory after a long time. Let's move away from that and quickly talk about the games for today. Tonight, you'll be having Liverpool in action, and of course, Manchester United chasing the top 4 spot. They'll also be in action. You have other clubs. Sheffield United, the way they actually lost. Not winning. They lost at the weekend.
That was painful.
That was painful, and of course, United need to be careful because they will be playing wounded lions. It's Newcastle, Aston Villa, Norwich City, Everton, Wolves, and Bournemouth, and Liverpool and Crystal Palace. Also, another game that everyone will be. All eyes will also be on that game. Crystal Palace. They've been good. They've been decent so far since just 2 games they've played, and they've been decent.
They're actually a very, very good side. They've been playing well. Just before the break. And Liverpool have to be very, very wary of this team. And that's exactly what Jurgen Klopp has been saying in his pre-match presser. Is expecting a very, very difficult game at Anfield today, because Palace were actually the last side